Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Judge denies bid from reality TV star Julie Chrisley to cut down fraud sentence. A federal judge in Georgia on Wednesday rejected a bid from former reality TV star Julie Chrisley to reduce her sentence for a fraud and tax evasion conviction. Chrisley will still serve an 84-month sentence after being found guilty in 2022 of conspiring with her husband Todd to hide their earnings from tax officials and defraud community banks in the Atlanta area by obtaining $36 million in fraudulent loans. Julie Chrisley, the star of the USA Network show Chrisley Knows Best, had been seeking a reduction to no more than a 5-year sentence, citing the impact of her detention in a Kentucky prison on her 2 youngest children. "I cannot ever repay my children for what they've had to go through, and for that I'm sorry," Chrisley, 51, said in court. "I apologize for my actions and what led me to where I am today." Savannah Chrisley, Julie's daughter, told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution her mother plans to appeal. "That's what you get from an Obama-appointed judge," she said. Prior to becoming TV stars, the Chrisleys made a fortune in real estate. During that time, prosecutors say they and a former business partner submitted false documents to Georgia banks to obtain large loans while living a luxury lifestyle until Todd filed for bankruptcy, leaving behind over $20 million in unpaid loans. Despite being in dire financial straits, the couple flaunted their wealth and lifestyle to the American public and hid their TV earnings, prosecutors alleged. In June, an appeals court upheld the couple's convictions but ordered a lower court to resentence Julie Chrisley, finding insufficient evidence she was part of the 6-year bank fraud scheme in its first year, 2006. Todd Chrisley, 56, is serving a 12-year sentence in Florida. The couple's former accountant, Peter Tarantino, was also convicted and is set for release in March from an Atlanta area halfway house. The Chrisleys were first indicted in 2019. Julie Chrisley, a well-known reality TV star from Chrisley Knows Best, faced a harsh reality as her latest attempt to reduce her sentence for fraud was denied by the courts. The story of Julie and her husband Todd has captivated viewers for years, with their larger-than-life personalities, glitzy lifestyle, and dramatic family dynamics playing out on the small screen. But no amount of reality television fame could shield her from the cold, hard truth of her legal troubles, which have become a saga of their own. In recent years, the Chrisleys' world of luxury mansions, expensive cars, and designer clothes began to unravel when federal authorities launched an investigation into their finances. What they uncovered was a scheme that spanned years, a web of financial deceit that included tax evasion, fraudulent bank loans, and manipulation of financial records to fund their extravagant way of life. The Chrisleys had long maintained their innocence, presenting themselves as victims of circumstance, but the evidence painted a very different picture. Julie, the poised matriarch who was once the epitome of Southern charm and grace, found herself in a very different role, a defendant facing serious charges. She and Todd were both convicted of defrauding banks out of millions of dollars, evading taxes, and living a lavish lifestyle on ill-gotten gains. In November 2022, they were sentenced to serve significant time in federal prison, with Todd receiving 12 years and Julie being handed a 7-year sentence. Despite the severity of the charges, Julie's legal team has been relentless in their efforts to reduce her sentence. They argued that Julie was not the mastermind behind the fraudulent scheme and that her role was minimal compared to her husband's. Julie, they claimed, was more of an unwitting participant, caught up in a situation she didn't fully understand. They also cited her good behavior, her role as a mother to their children, and her long-standing support of charitable causes as reasons the court should show leniency. But this week, the court made its stance clear. The judge, in a ruling that sent shockwaves through Julie's supporters and reality TV fans alike, denied her bid to cut down her sentence. The decision was met with a mixture of disappointment and a grim sense of inevitability. After all, the law doesn't bend for celebrity, no matter how famous or beloved one may be. The judge's ruling was firm, pointing to the fact that Julie's involvement in the scheme was not as minimal as her defense had argued. The court noted that Julie had played an active role in the financial deception, signing off on falsified documents and benefiting from the proceeds of the fraud. While her lawyers tried to paint her as a peripheral figure, the evidence showed she was deeply entrenched in the scheme. For Julie, the denial of her request means more time behind bars, a stark contrast to the glamorous life she once led. The Southern belle who once hosted elaborate parties, vacationed in exotic locales, and presented a picture-perfect family image now finds herself facing the harsh reality of prison life. Her journey from the top of reality TV fame to the confines of a federal penitentiary is a dramatic fall from grace, one that her fans and the media have watched with rapt attention. The Chrisley family's legal battles have become their own reality show, but unlike the carefully edited, light-hearted drama of Chrisley Knows Best, there's no scripting or happy ending in sight for Julie. The cameras have stopped rolling, and the storyline is no longer one of wealth and humor, but one of consequences and justice. As Julie comes to terms with the court's decision, the future remains uncertain. Will she continue to fight for a reduced sentence? Her legal team has hinted that they will explore every possible avenue for appeal. But with this recent denial, the road ahead looks increasingly difficult. Julie's supporters, including her children and die-hard fans of the show, have expressed their outrage on social media, calling the sentence unfair and excessive. But public sympathy doesn't hold much weight in a courtroom, and the reality of her situation is that she has a long road ahead before she's a free woman again. Her husband Todd, who has also appealed his sentence, faces his own challenges behind bars, but together they represent a cautionary tale about the dangers of living beyond one's means and the risks of believing that fame can shield you from accountability. For now, Julie remains behind bars, a far cry from the life of luxury she once enjoyed. The denial of her bid for a reduced sentence is a bitter pill to swallow, but it's a reminder that the law applies equally to all, regardless of status or fame. As the Chrisley legal drama continues to unfold, fans will undoubtedly keep a close watch, hoping for new developments, though they may have to wait a while before they see a different outcome. In a courtroom humming with quiet tension, the weight of reality and fame intersected once again. Julie Chrisley, star of the hit reality show Chrisley Knows Best, stood before the judge, her sharp gaze tempered by the wariness of months spent navigating the convoluted twists of her own personal drama. This wasn't the television stage she had once mastered with her witty one-liners and poised demeanor. No, this was the cold, unforgiving reality of a federal courtroom, where charm and humor did little to shift the gravity of a situation that now threatened to engulf her. Julie, alongside her husband Todd Chrisley, had built a television empire on the premise of a picturesque, affluent Southern family, offering viewers a glimpse of their lavish lifestyle, seemingly supported by wit, charm, and family ties. But behind the glamorous curtains and laughter of primetime television lay the murky waters of financial deception. The illusion had shattered when they were convicted of bank fraud and tax evasion, charges that painted a picture starkly different from the Chrisley family's reality on screen. Today, Julie stood before the judge in hopes of having her sentence reduced. Her bid was a desperate attempt to regain some semblance of the life she had once known, a life far removed from the bars of a federal prison. Surrounded by her legal team, the atmosphere was thick with the urgency of her appeal. Julie's expression remained steadfast, but there was a hint of vulnerability behind her eyes, a glimpse into the turmoil that lay just beneath the surface of her calm exterior. The courtroom itself was a far cry from the opulence Julie had become accustomed to in her years of luxury living. No glittering chandeliers, no plush furniture. Instead, it was stark, sterile, and institutional, a visual reminder that this was a world where influence held little sway over the dictates of justice.